Szewczaks. It's me, Maja Szewczak, and welcome to another Idea Sunday. I've had this lobster button from Tenerife for a while. It was waiting and waiting until an Idea Sunday idea came up to me. Today, we'll be giving this lobster a makeover. Like, I wanted to look more like my dollhouse items. And it's kind of, well, it is suitable for my dolls. Let's get Marshmallow in here. So, Marshmallow. Hello. Is that a lobster? We're just testing it with you. Wow, what a beautiful creature. Why do people eat lobsters? They're so beautiful. I wouldn't eat it. I would keep a fish tank with the lobster. We've got to save this little thing. Okay, Marina, we're doing it. However, the lobster needs a makeover. And yes, I will put a fish tank for the lobster in the minty ice cream dollhouse because I know Marina lives in it. First of all, let's make this lobster some functional posable claws, because these ones cannot move. Unacceptable. Off it comes. It's okay. I'm going to make this little creature some new claws. Let's just remove that. I'm keeping the hook just for that purpose. So now let's get on some wire and use those leftovers to study what should a lobster's claw look like. So let's get some red beads for the claws. So we're going to add this on, and we're going to add the beads on to make lobster claws, because whatever's going on, it wants to have those claws that the lobster can use. So that's why I'm giving this thing a makeover. So we're not going to turn the lobster into something else. We're just going to give it a complete makeover today. So let's use its old claws as a shape for what the new ones will be. Okay, we're going to need red beads for that. Red because we're doing a red lobster. I did like the idea of also doing a blue one, but there's always next time. Today we're just sticking with the default red lobster. Lobster claws. Done. I'm just checking with the other ones. The size is good. And it is posable. However, they are nice swinging everywhere, the lobster claws. So we're going to have to remedy that. But this I will only use for lobster claw reference. I just want to do a default red one, a red lobster, so I'm going to remedy the bubbling clothing with some red velvet fabric. Going to stitch that onto it. Maybe not the velvet fabric. Lobsters are supposed to be shiny, or I'll just use it anyways. If I can just add the sparkles later if I want to. Or not. I'll just use some fabric, but then I'll color it red. So let's stitch that together. And this will not be there. Let's cut it off. Because I'm trying to just make sure it's just everything what a lobster needs to have. So let's just stitch that on. That's better. Still posable, but not as bubbly as it used to be. Now it's the time to paint this little lobster. We're going to start with the coral orange acrylic paint because I've noticed some patterns in lobsters whenever I was looking at images on Google to help me with that. Help me with the lobster patterns. So let's get the coral orange base first before doing the red parts. of this lobster. So let's just paint the body coral orange. And we're just going to let it dry because I also have a dentist appointment, so better have the teeth brushed and the lobster drying. I also glued on red beads for the legs. They are not functional lobster legs, but I wanted at least the claws to be functional. So that's what. Let's let it dry. During my dentist appointment, the red lobster has dried. This is Ribbonella, the one that I gave to my dentist in plushie form, but this one I'm keeping because it will be a pet for the dolls. So anyways, here's the blue one. I'm going to get the legs onto the blue one now. And what is on the blue lobster? I put blue Elmer's glow-in-the-dark glue. The red one does not glow in the dark, but if I put the Elmer's blue glow-in-the-dark glue, then it will if I put that on, because the blue Elmer's glow-in-the-dark glue is actually a really good glow in the dark, although the consistency is like slime. But anyways, let's try it to see if it looks good. Let's dab it onto a paintbrush and get it on. You're going to be blue and glow in the dark. No, we're not doing that. I was just joking about putting it on to this lobster. You really thought I was going to put that glue on you, but I didn't. We have to get your legs on first. Just ignore this weird sense of humor and put the legs on already. I'm not making it glow in the dark. I was just joking around with it. Maybe I'll do something else for the blue one, but it has to dry. And I've used the leftovers from the claws that I've cut off the red one to replace them. So let's let the blue one dry. Alright, Ribbonella, it's time to have some red patterns on you. So let's get some red acrylic paint to paint a red pattern onto you. I have some of it in the bottle, and let's get fine detail brush to do it. So let's do that. So what's blue lobster and blue Elmer's glow in the dark blue equal a blue glow in the dark lobster. Blue lobster. But we're doing a red one. Just making art supply and lobster jokes along the way. So I'm just starting on the red bits. I will decorate it later, but now I'm just painting whatever I need it to be painted. So lobster coral, red lobster coral, because it's a bit coral, and a bit of red. I know this from my the photos I looked up of red lobsters just to get a reference. People seem to want to eat them, but I don't. These creatures are beautiful. Why would you eat them? That's just my opinion, but if you like eating lobsters, that's fine. I'm okay with your opinion on them, but I've never tried it, and I don't think I will. Just find them too beautiful to eat. Okay, let's let the red lobster dry. Ribbonella, the red lobster has dried. But what about the blue one? What should I name the blue one? I'm just getting that paint off my brush because I'll be using this blue paint. Hadn't used it for a while. So let's get back into using it. I think I'm going to name the blue lobster Sparkles, Sparkles and Ribbonella. What an interesting name combination. Sparkles and Ribbonella. Okay, let's do it. And with this piece of cardboard, I'm later going to turn it into the lobster tank for Sparkles and Ribbonella. And I'm going to write their names in their colors, in their lobster colors. So I'm painting the backdrop for their tank. Let's let Sparkles dry. And hadn't painted anything on Ribbonella, so let's start doing it. So I cut and folded it. Let's get the cappuccino labels off it. I accidentally turned off the paint, but I can glue it back on. Hopefully I won't destroy that. Well, I'm scared of destroying it, so I'll just glue it onto the cappuccino thing. I'll just glue it on. Fine, I'll do it. I'll just glue that on. Glue. Paintbrush. I like to spread glue with paintbrushes. However, I have to have the paintbrushes in water so the glue does not dry on the brush. It dries on my dollhouse items, but it does not dry on the brush. So let's add those colorful third up pieces to decorate the lobster tank with. So that's what we're doing today. That's what we're doing. And we're going to put it together like this. Let's just staple it together. Well, it would look better if I just made that the floor of where they live. So let's now do the interior. Let's get some plastic to create a fish tank for the lobsters. So we're going to get these and let's just staple them in. They will be stapled in like this. I want to be able to lift it up, so snip. That's better. That's more like it. It's a bit small for them. So let's just change the plants for this. You see, I was figuring it out. Just going to scrap this or not. We're going to make a wall for the lobsters instead. So let's do that. Instead, staple that in. That's better. It's still small, so maybe I'll do this. Then I'm going to gather pieces of cardboard. Now I've decided we're going to go half pink, half blue, just to make it their color scheme of their lobster colors. So let's do that. Stapling, and there will be viewing windows for them so the dolls can view them from windows in the tank. So let's get another piece of plastic for another viewing window. For another viewing window. So I'm searching which plastic should I use. This one's pink, so let's use the pink plastic for Ribbonella's viewing window. There's the purple flower on it though, but it's fine. It's fine to use it. So let's get that onto it. And the flower's purple, but I can change the color. I've made the lobster tank for the dolls. You can see lobsters through it, through the viewing windows a little bit, but now it's the time to do the inside of the lobster tank. The failed experiment got used into it. Let's make it look a bit better with red beads. We're going to make red sand for it. And the plants will be blue for Ribbonella and Sparkles. So let's start giving Ribbonella and Sparkles some personalities while I'm painting on the beads onto the lobster tank. So Ribbonella would be the more like the one that would eat more, although Sparkles also eats, but they like different things. Maybe not give them different personalities, just different taste in things. Cause Ribbonella would like the color red more, while Sparkles, she prefers the blue color, so the red would be the more red would go to Ribbonella's side, and the more peach colored sand would go to Sparkles. So that's what I'm doing with those beads. They aren't sand, they're actually pebbles that look like sand. But they do look a little bit sand, like the red aquarium sand. So I'm doing that. And I'm sprinkling the beads. That looks prettier. Now we have to add some blue plants and decorations for Sparkles. So let's put the red beads away and use the same blue paint. Sparkles' favorite blue sparkly paint. It's not glow in the dark, but Sparkles still loves this paint, so let's get it on these rocks here. And I want this to be visible from the outside. Whatever I can do. There. Now I'm going to get a Sharpie and write on the blue one Sparkles. So let's get that. Sparkles and Ribbonella on this side. That's hard to read. Let's just remove that. And write it the second time. Nope, don't like that either. Let's try a third attempt. That's better. Sparkles and Ribbonella. So that's what the tank looks like. The purple flower will get painted over or just colored over with a coral pink marker because that purple seems out of place. And besides, why did I add that here? In the first place, I forgot why. Not that it matters because now it's getting colored over, so you'll never see that purple on it ever again. So that's what better. Now let's let this dry. The lobsters have dried. I'm going to now apply some iridescent glitter glue to both of them. Less for Ribbonella and more for Sparkles because that's like their taste in things. Sparkles likes lots of sparkles, while Ribbonella just likes the velvety ribbons, so not as much sparkles as Sparkles has, but a little bit because Ribbonella isn't that into that much sparkles. So just slight sparkle. It's like Ribbonella likes it, but not as much as Sparkles. So Sparkles will be more sparkly while Ribbonella less. And I'll add more bows on Ribbonella, the red lobster, so Sparkles, the blue lobster, will just sparkle and sparkle everywhere. That's what I wanted to do. I didn't want to make the like a clone of each other with just a different coloring, but I also wanted them to be twins with different tastes in things. Not total opposites, but just different taste in things. So that's what I'm doing to Sparkles and Ribbonella. And I'll add some sparkles to the wall to not waste any. To the wall of the aquarium for the lobsters. And that's what I'm doing. This will be the sparkle wall. If I turn on the torch, that can look like a night sky on camera. Let's turn that off. You can see a little bit and it still looks like a night sky. Focus, please. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Let's let everything dry. And I think Ribbonella will just have one layer of glitter glue, while Sparkles will have countless layers of glitter glue. That's what I decided on. I will surprise you with how much sparkles I put on Sparkles. So let's use these beads to decorate the lobster tank that the lobster twins are going to live in. So I'm painting the glue. I'm painting the glue so I can glue that heart on. Should I do translucent? Yes, I think we're going to have the translucent side where Ribbonella lives, and the sparkly side where Sparkles lives. I think that will be iconic for the characters. Although Ribbonella does like Sparkles, but not as much as how Sparkles likes them. So now for Sparkles, let's do a sparkly decoration in the tank. So let's give Sparkles a sparkly archway to explore. So I'm trying to figure out where I'm going to put it. So glue here, and let's decorate the wall. Yes, that's what Sparkles likes. Now let's let that dry and work on Ribbonella's side. So let's use her favorite shade of red for this one, rose red, and it's like lobster red, but it's like raspberry or rose red. But it's named rose red actually. So we're using it. Doesn't need to be as sparkly as Sparkle's side, but okay. But I will put a lot of ribbons, like aquarium decorations in to this side. But first, let's let this dry. I painted the tank, and I've added bows, like a bow to Ribbonella and Sparkles got eyes, beady eyes, because lobster eyes look like beads. But let's let it dry. And about Ribbonella's bow, it was a bow cabochon, and I glued on frayed velvet ribbon pieces to it I really wonder what this will look like dry, so only when it dries I will be able to tell you. And I'm building another level of the lobster tank. For the lobsters, we're going to use white acrylic paint to paint on the water waves. But first, let's get the white acrylic paint on for the water, and this will get options. For the lobsters, these will be the options. For the lobsters to either go there or there. That's what I want to do today. For today's Idea Sunday. And I will put a high style roof on this. When it dries and then the next day of filming it. For now, I'm just doing the final thing for today, and then I'll come back another day to finish everything. It's a new day and a new start. So, the lobster tank was drying all night, and now it's time to get back to working on it. So I'm going to make it look even more like a house for these lobsters. Sparkles and ribbonella. So we're going to put on a roof here. Let's get some piece of plastic, the leftover one from Ribbonella's leftover window. So let's glue that on. We'll glue these on later. For now, we're just going to decorate. This could be a bookshelf for the fish food, lobster food. So I will not in this episode do the lobster food tray here, but maybe just use the leftovers for the lobster tank. So let's now turn some leftover beads and cardboard into lobster food bottles. So this will be the tray for the lobster food. I will make it look a little bit like a garden chair, kind of like a little doll house, but it's not a doll house. Well, for the lobsters it is, but not for the dolls. You know. So this will just store all the lobster foods to feed the lobsters. Actually, these beads could work as bottles for the lobster food. So let's just put another bead on another bead to make it for Rebonella. So the orangey red will go for Rebonella's favorite food, while Sparkle's favorite food will have the bluey cap on the lobster food bottle. So that's what I want to do. So here's the bluey one. And the orangey red one. And let's let the bottles dry. And it's also a good size for dolls. And the little flakes look like some shrimp you feed to lobsters. The 2-story lobster house has dried. I had to add the roof, the flowers, the tray of camera because the video would be too long otherwise. But anyways, now it's time to decorate these parts into windows, like those open and close windows with the wooden window frames that can open and close. But they will not open and close. It's just a decoration for the lobster tank. It does look like a house, but when you turn it over, it's like a house for the lobsters to live in, not the dolls, although they're kind of dolls, but they're lobsters. So in they go. And this is how the house looks like. I also made to add to the bottles, I've made a lobster care manual dollhouse book. So let's take this to the minty ice cream dollhouse and conclude the video. So Chef Jax, what do you think of the lobster and the tank for the lobsters? I was only going to do Ribonella, the red lobster, but I also decided to do Sparkles, the blue lobster. So please tell me what you think of everything I did for this episode. And bye, Chef Jax. See you in another video. Bye.